Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be talking about the anatomy of the ear ossicles. So let's start. So the ossicles are small bones in the middle ear that transmit vibrations from the outer ear to the inner ear. So these are three bones and they are named Malleus, Incus and Stapes. So we will be looking at each of these bones separately. But before that, can you tell me the exact location of these bones? So these are located inside the middle ear. So this is a cross section of the ear part. This is the external ear. This is the middle ear and this is the inner ear. So this is exactly where the ossicles are located inside the middle ear. Now let's zoom into this part and take a closer look. So this is a zoomed in version, and just to orient you again, this is the EAC or the external auditory canal, and this is the middle ear with the ossicles. Now let's see the structure of these tiny bones. So there are three bones and this is exactly how they are connected to each other. They form a continuous chain, which is how they are able to transmit the sound waves from the tympanic membrane into the middle ear. So if due to any condition they get disconnected, they will not be able to transmit these sound waves. So now let's see the structure of these individual bones. So first we have the malleus, then we have the incus, and then we have the stapes. Some people even like to call it stapes, so it's up to you. Now let's see the parts of each of these bones. Starting with the malleus, here we have the head, then we have the lateral process, and then we have the anterior process. Then we have the manubrium, which is also called the handle of malleus. And finally, we have the tip of the manubrium, which is called umbo. An important one-liner that you should know is that the umbo is the most visible anatomical landmark of the tympanic membrane. Next, we will be talking about the incus. So here we have the short process, then we have the body, then we have the long process, and lastly we have the lenticular process. Now let's see the last bone, which is stapes. I'll separate it out so that we can have a better view of it. So this is the stapes. Here we have the head again, then we have the neck, we have the anterior crus and the posterior crus, and lastly we have the foot plate, which is also called the base of the stapes. Now we have to see to what structures are these bones connected to. So the handle of malleus is attached to the tympanic membrane, as we all know, and the foot plate of the stapes is attached to the oval window. This will become more clear from this interesting diagram. So just to orient you again, here we have the ESC, the tympanic membrane, the malleus, and this is the cochlea, which is a tiny bony structure inside the middle ear. We will be talking more about this in my upcoming videos on the topic inner ear. But for now, just know that we have the oval window here. So here you can see the handle of malleus, which is attached to the tympanic membrane. So that's clear. Now let's zoom into the stapes bone. So here I've zoomed in, and again we have this cochlea, and then we have the stapes bone, and this is exactly where the foot plate of the stapes is attached to the oval window of the cochlea. Another interesting point is that the manubrium is attached to the tympanic membrane in such a way that it pulls the tympanic membrane inside the middle ear. So this is why the tympanic membrane has a slight concave shape. Now what are the functions of these bones? So pretty straightforward. Whenever the sound waves will reach the tympanic membrane, it will vibrate. Now because this tympanic membrane is attached to the malleus and all of these bones are connected, the vibrations will be transmitted through these bones, and finally the vibrations will be transmitted to the oval window, which will also start vibrating. And because of this, the fluid that is present inside the cochlea will also start to vibrate, which will then lead to the movement of hair cells and then transmit the impulses through the nerves into the brain. We will talk more about this in my video on mechanism of hearing. Now what are the joints between these bones? So the incudomalleolar joint, which is between the malleus and incus, is a saddle joint, and in the incudostapedial joint, which is between the incus and stapes, is a ball and socket type of joint. So these can come as one-liners. Now embryologically, it is very important to know about the development of these bones. So the malleus and incus are derived from the first arch, but the stapes is derived from the second arch. And the most important thing to remember, the foot plate of stapes is derived from the aortic capsule. So these are important one-liners to remember. Now the last part of the video, is there any clinical important stuff that you should know regarding these? Yes. So the lenticular process of the incus is the first to undergo erosion in case of any severe infection. The long process of the incus is the second to undergo erosion. But the foot plate of the stapes is the last to undergo erosion, and this is what you have to remember. And why is this the case? Because it is derived from the otic capsule. So again, very important to remember. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can text me on Instagram anytime. I will be leaving the link of my Insta in the bio. I also upload high yield MCQs there every day. Thank you.